Morning all. How we doing? All good? Just taking a quick attempt at a short on S&P this morning on my futures account. The DAX this morning. Whoops. Pushed up. Was it a DAX? Where's the DAX? That's the DAX. Oh yeah, that's the DAX on the on my Axie account. But there's a gap here on my other account with Robo, which is there. So I'm just playing this gap fill down to here, assuming the DAX is going to push down and gap fill. It looked like it was going this morning, and then it stopped as soon as the Frankfurt Open. It pushed back up again. So I'm just trying a short, trying my luck to see if we can get this filled on the ES as well. Because if the DAX comes down, this will come down as well with it. So, but we'll see. Morning, Andy. Morning, Mark. Aseni. Morning, Trevor. Yeah, it's really windy, isn't it? Really windy. Very, very blowy out there. If you're not in the UK, we're in the middle of a massive windstorm. Basically, it's going to get up to 100 miles an hour potentially today. 90, 100. But we'll see. So I've moved the bins down the side alley. I've moved the car back in case all the tiles fly off the roof and kill the car. But yeah, be watching that out my window. Be interesting. Right. I'm just going to get stopped out on this, I think, by the looks of things. Good start to the day. $300, $400 loss. Nice. Oh well, it's worth a punt. I think this is coming down today. We had the mother of all bearish candles yesterday. It didn't stop. None of the indices yesterday stopped. If I'd have taken that, I took the short up here. If I'd have left the short on, I'd have been basically passed my evaluation yesterday, but I didn't. So yeah, really good move down. Morning, Jacob. So we've gone from a 3-bar reversal up to a 3-bar reversal down. So I'm looking today. The reason I'm taking this trade on the ES this morning is as well. I'm just looking for basically a little push up and then a down candle today. We quite often, once we get, here's a good example actually. We get a big bearish engulfing candle there. The following day, if we're going to get follow through, quite often what we do is we get a little tick up at the start of the day and then we get the collapse. And that's what I'm planning on this being, the little tick up and then the collapse starting. I might be a bit early on it. But if I'm not early on it, I'm planning to hold it for the London session, hopefully. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But it's worth the go this morning. I've got $5,000 worth of drawdown to use. So I'm going in with full-size contracts. I'm not going in with minis. Let's see if we can milk that one. Morning, Neo. So yesterday, didn't have a lot of movement at all on the US dollar. We had that spike off of the Russian news. And then we faded that straight back into London. London did nothing and New York did even less. And so far in Asia, we've had a little bit of a dip down, but we're still down here. So the plan for me is still the same. I'm looking for this to do a liquidity run. Where are we? There. So I drew that extra line on. It's thrown me. This one here. So all the liquidity is sitting under here from that long, the long breakout players, anybody that's played the pullback long on that move. It's all sitting under here. There's a lot of liquidity there. So I'm still waiting and hoping they come down today and grab that. So anything below 95,610 today on the Dixie, I think potentially we will start to power up for a long. So we've got news today, this afternoon, not a lot. We've had retail sales this morning. We'll have a look at the pound in a minute. We've got retail for CAD coming out as well at 1:30. Home sales doesn't really do anything on the US dollar, but that's really the only news catalyst we've got. So we might get some movement off of CAD maybe. we've got obviously talking heads later, but that's all the news we've got. There's nothing particularly US dollar related today, so not quite sure what we'll get to move it. It might just grind, and if it does, it does. But we are holding this low very, very nicely at the minute, so we'll see what happens. Diamond, I'm looking for a similar move on the DAX, but not with large trade sizes. Yeah, yeah, I'm about to get stopped out. In fact, I'm 2 ticks away from being stopped out on that. Well, actually, a little bit more than that. I got a $500 stop on it, basically. Willing to give it. I think it might be actually a bit more than $500, but yeah, I'm willing to give it a bit of wiggle room. And if it goes down, I'm going to get in more. But it looks like it's going to stop me out, which is fine. Come on, make your mind up. I'm watching it on my other. I've got it running on another screen as well. Right. So where are we today? I had a mare yesterday. 8% loss yesterday. I've made a 10% gain this morning, but I made a loss yesterday. So I've basically pulled it back today. I was mucking about with the EA and testing features. So yeah, that didn't go to plan. Got lots of movement going on the yen by the looks of things. So we'll have a quick look at that first of all. Yeah, big yen spikes going on at the moment. Lots of weakness on the yen pairs. So anybody in any yens? They're all going up like crazy. Money flooding out of the yen. Any news just coming? Nope. This is just to move out the gates on the yen, basically, by the looks of things. Big spike. So have a look at where these guys are reaching for from a liquidity perspective. Yesterday's high, up at 100 ADR. Nice liquidity level that. Potentially then off up to there. CAD-Gens, nothing much there. Hasn't really moved much. Swissie's obviously a bit strong, a bit weak this morning as well. Yeah, big move on the yen to start the day. Still nothing on the Dixie. Okay. Mark, I'm 1 hour into the scalping video, 45 minutes to go. Yeah. You don't have to watch it all, but it's just if you want to watch it all, obviously watch it all, but it's just to give you an idea. Hang on a minute. Sorry, I've just ballsed that trade right up. What an idiot. I didn't realise I had 2 contracts on it. I thought I only had one on, so I only stopped one contract out. I've let one run. Now I'm $600 in the hole. Anyway, so that comes down. Or is the euro spiking? No, it's definitely the yen. Look at all the yen pairs. They're all popping at the minute. So having a look at where we are so far today, we've got ADR's hit on Aussie Swiss, Aussie yen, New Zealand Swiss, and New Zealand yen. This is a good example of how these are all correlated. Yeah, so whenever you're trading a New Zealand pair against something, try not to get into the opposite Aussie pair as well, because they move very, very much the same when they move. So Aussie dollar Swiss has hit to the upside. This could well be a liquidity run of yesterday's high. So yesterday's high, they put in a double top. Anybody that saw that move, saw that double top, will have entered short. That's all gone. And that was a stop hunt of the previous day's high. All the revenge traders would have got in again when they got stopped out. So there'll be a lot of liquidity there, which has just been grabbed. So that might be a nice little short. Not quite sure what this yen, this movement is that we've got going on at the moment. Just watching for news to see if anything comes in. I can't see anything, so it just does look like market manipulation at the moment this morning. So that might be a nice little short. Aussie dollar Swiss. Reverse alert's fair distance away at the moment on that one. Horrible reverse alert on that because this horribly big spike. Just ignore the indicator when you get things like that. You can't do anything about it. It's just odd price action. But yeah, that's a nice potential high there that's being taken out. So that could well come down today. Aussie dollar, what was the other one? Aussie dollar yen, wasn't it? Aussie dollar yen, not quite hit that double top yet. Would like it to see it take yesterday's high out. But we want to see what, I'm not quite sure what this yen movement is. There is no news on it. When did it start? Started off the back of the pound news. Oh no, that's 7. Where are we now? 8:43. Don't know what that is. Just manipulation by the looks of things. So potentially a good short there. So with the Aussie pairs, the yen pairs, I'm still short on them at the moment. But as I say, I'm not really trading much at the minute because I don't know what is going on with Russia, and I don't want to really get into any positions long term until I see what is happening there. There's still a lot of tensions on the border at the minute. Lots of noise, basically, about what's going to happen. So potentially we could see Russia going in very, very, very soon. And obviously that will have an impact on the markets. You'll see the US dollar, the yen and the Swissy move a lot. So I don't really want to get stuck the wrong side of one of those. So my position at the moment is still flat. I'm scalping, but I'm not going to be getting into anything bigger and longer term just at the moment until we know what's going on with that. Again, it could be a case of that thing just sits there for weeks, but I don't know. It'll either de-escalate or it'll escalate pretty quickly, I think. So we'll see what happens on it. But at the moment, my bias is to short everything against the yen, as expecting the yen to power up, basically, along with the US dollar, which obviously hasn't yet. We're waiting for this push down. So if we get the push down and push up on the US dollar today, we'll probably see a bit more strength coming through on the yen. And obviously then that will come down. So this looks like a pretty good ADR reversal at the moment. It's just starting to play out now. But I'd like to see it get a little bit higher. 83, 335 is the level. If we can take that out, that'll be spot on. But it has kind of double topped already. If you count the spread into that, it's kind of done it, hasn't it? New Zealand dollar Swiss and New Zealand dollar yen will be pretty much the same thing. New Zealand dollar Swiss almost up to 125 ADR. Big strong push there. Loads and loads of movement on New Zealand dollar. We are expecting the New Zealand dollar to power up, which it seems to be doing. So if you've got your longs on the New Zealand dollar, well done. They're playing out. But that is just reaching for this liquidity at the moment. So potentially we'll get a pullback today and then a continuation push. Potentially it could also just push up to there and then do the pullback from there, probably down to that level. So those are your two scenarios on that. And New Zealand dollar yen. Again, same thing. We have actually taken that level out on the New Zealand. So again, potential stop hunts going on, ready for drops. And as I say, there's no news really today that is going to potentially do anything exciting. Bear with me a second. How long have we got left on that? Oh, it's a new candle. So I'm just trying to dig myself out of this position and just managing it. Just watching my P&L on my other monitor. Right, so that's the ADRs today. So we have had ADRs hit fairly early on. If these guys push further up, obviously today, there'll be lovely reversals. The deeper they get, obviously the better. But just keep your eyes peeled on the news for the next sort of half hour. Just see if there is anything coming out based on the yen. But this, to me, just looks like normal price action. So, yes, really, really strong New Zealand dollar today. And obviously a really strong Aussie along with it. So, looking good. Aussie, New Zealand, not gone anywhere yesterday, just accumulating at the moment. So, this is a good example of, obviously, the Aussie and the New Zealand working together. So, they're both strong. They're both consolidate at the same time. Right, 4 hours. We had quite a few lit up yesterday on the 4 hours, didn't we? So a few of these have all, well, most of them have all sort of played out already. The only thing we've got lit up at the moment is the Euro New Zealand. That is massively extended. We looked at this one yesterday. We got extended yesterday, didn't we? And we were looking for potential entries on it. Did anybody get on this yesterday? Actually, it didn't move from the fib, so that's the fib that I drew in on it yesterday. So that was the bottom of the move. That must have been when we were looking at it. And you didn't even get that. Remember I said, if you're going to take this one long, that's where you want to be aiming for. You didn't even get that. This is what I mean. This is why I do not long the euro at the moment. It's got no legs, and especially now with the New Zealand dollar powering up. Obviously, you wouldn't have known that at the time yesterday it was going to power up, but yeah, didn't even get the pullback on it. So if you did take this one long yesterday, this was obviously counter trend. Need to look at levels to get in for additional positions. So as usual, be looking for the 72 and next support resistance level on it, which will be down here somewhere. Okay, so this is very, very, very strong support resistance, 4-time hit. So 100 ADR today. If we get to push down there today on the New Zealand dollar, it'll be pretty hard work, I think, for the New Zealand dollar to get down there today, considering it's put in ADRs already on a couple of pairs. But if we can get down to there today, that's your position, that's your entry, 68,405. And we've then got this next level of support resistance at 67,994, which is 150 ADR. So somewhere between 100 to 150 ADR today. If you're in this one long, that's where I'll be entering second positions, and then get out on the pop. We'll get a pop on it at some point, but and obviously then your backup is the 72. So that's all you've got extended on the 4 hour. As a long, everything else is nothing there, is there? New Zealand dollar, US dollar is getting close. Nice potential double top coming in there, and again this would tie in very nicely with that US dollar drop. If we get that US dollar come down and do that liquidity run I'm hoping it's going to achieve and then pop, that will give this an opportunity to push up. So as the US dollar index pushes down, New Zealand dollar US will push up. That will give them time to do a liquidity run there. So that'll be an absolutely perfect setup. New Zealand dollar, US dollar for a short. It is a long bias against a long bias, so it's not the best setup in the world at the moment, obviously, but that's a really good level. Really, really strong level. We were not interested in cracking that last time and then having our second attempt at it. It'll also be extended at 100 ADR, and it's in between the 2472 area, which is typically where we see reversals. So yeah, looks really, really good. Really nicely setting up. It's not quite there yet, but if you wanted to take it, you could do. It was extended yesterday. I think that was one of the ones we looked at. It was extended yesterday. Just about got there, I think, didn't it? Yeah, it did. But it was only, that was the one that was only kind of up to 68. So, you know, you could have actually taken a trade and got out of that one probably yesterday. You got, you've had about half an ADR drop, so it's not too bad. But yeah, I'd like to see the US dollar get down to where it needs to get to first. Hourlies. Same thing, Euro New Zealand. So it's, all we got at the moment is Euro New Zealand for opportunities for shorts, and that's only just got extended on the 68.32. So again, you could drop down to M5 on that and get in fast on M5, or wait for the M15, which is going to be a bit further away. So it depends what time frame you're looking at. If you're looking at the 4 hour extension, enter on M15. Looking at the hourly extension, enter on M5. Or if you want to be super aggressive, enter on M5 and base it on the M4. Up to you. But be warned, that's probably going to push a little bit more today. But they've gone, you know, these have really gone out the gates today, haven't they? Big pushes. Sorry, one sec. Sorry, I'm multitasking. 21 degrees in the south of Spain, Stevier. Oh, very nice. Not 21 degrees here. It's not actually that cold out there. It's just absolutely howling wind. And we haven't even got the storm yet. Where I am on the south coast, our wind speeds are only up to sort of 40, 50 miles an hour at the moment, anticipated to get to 80 to 90 miles an hour. So, yeah, it hasn't even hit us. So that's all I've got for you at the moment. There's a couple of ADRs. They're not the best in the world, I don't think, at the moment. These ADRs, they're all actually playing out, kind of already happening. So not too bad, but I'm just a bit cautious with this yen at the moment. The Swiss franc ones, I wouldn't have too much problem taking shorts because with the Swiss franc, you're going to get the Swiss franc powering up. And when that Swissy goes, that Swissy will draw up this like a rock. We've got a lovely target to aim for down there as well today within an ADR. So potentially that's a nice looking setup, that one. Your 5 minute is just under ADR. So that's probably the best of the bunch, I think, at the moment. New Zealand dollar Swiss or potentially the Aussie dollar Swiss. But New Zealand Swiss probably either or, really. Both the same thing. Aussie dollar Swiss moving down, didn't take it as waiting for a retest. We haven't got an alert yet on the Aussie Swiss. Can't get in yet until you get the alert. The alert's here, so you can wait for the retest on the alert if you want to. Up to you whether you wait for a retest. A retest is obviously a stronger signal than an initial reversal. So that's really all I've got for you this morning. There's nothing happening news-wise at the moment today. From an earnings perspective, we'll have a look at the indices in a minute before I disappear. But earnings-wise, we had Liberty and Roku aftermarket. The movement yesterday, what happened to Nvidia? Just going to have a look at what happened to them. Yeah, they had a big drop, didn't they? Not good earnings for Nvidia by the looks of things. That's what will have hurt the NAS yesterday. I'm just Cisco. Cisco fared better. Shopify's pre-market the next day. Fiverr. Yeah, that was Nvidia yesterday. So the vast majority of the move that we had yesterday on the NAS was Nvidia. So we had this. Obviously, it just didn't stop yesterday. Came down massively hard. Literally 8 hours solid down. No let up whatsoever. Really, really annoying. I would never hold it that long anyway in futures, but I took it short and kind of got chopped around a little bit. And I said I was waiting yesterday. This is kind of where we stopped yesterday. And I said I was waiting for it to get back up and retest these levels. And then I was going to play the drop. We didn't get the drop. We didn't get the retest, basically. So I didn't manage to get in. And if I had of crikey, but you'd never held that. I'd have been scared out on a couple of up candles on M5 on futures, because if I'd have got into that short, I'd probably be somewhere between 3 to 5k in. So, but yeah, it was a really, really, really good, solid move on that one yesterday. Sorry, one sec. So what I'm expecting indices wise today is a push, potentially either a push up for a wick test on the previous day, if we can make it up to there, or a small push, kind of, this is what I'm expecting. We've done the push today, this is it, and then a drop, continuation drop. So this is a nice 3-bar reversal. We had a very, very solid down day today. I'm expecting this kind of price action, wick up and drop. This is the wick up. So imagine this candle in about 2 or 3 hours time. It will look like that. And then I'm expecting New York to fully finish it off. So that's what I'm playing at the moment. That's what the trade I've got on at the moment is, anticipating that move. If that move doesn't happen, I'll get stopped out on that move and we'll probably come back up and retest that wick, potentially, or have a bit more of a push up in London, and then I'll be looking for shorts in New York. So it still looks like we are getting the drop, potentially, doesn't it? So the market structure is that nice pullback. We're bearish. I'm looking for a down day today. These lows is going to be the sticking point. We're going to get a pop through that level, potentially. So if we can get closer to that, next week I think we'll probably go into a rotation, and then we'll attempt another new low from there. But we'll see. Earnings are pretty much over now. We've got... next week, all we've got left next week. This is the quarterly earnings. Obviously, this is earnings season, January, February. This is it. Next week, that's it. We've got nothing left. So it's just business as usual now, and we'll start to see. Probably we will start to see ADRs returning to more normal levels. That sort of price action. So opportunities in the day will be fast and over quickly, much more small, choppy price action as opposed to what we've been used to recently, which is massive, massive days. So we'll see, but looking for down at the moment. US dollar, S&P, obviously, same thing, big drop. Lots of wicks down there. We started the pullback. We did a double top rejection and put that 3-bar reversal in yesterday. Again, exactly the same thing on the S&P as we see on the NAS. Looking for either this to be the wick up and drop, or if we need to come back up and retest those levels. But I'm hoping we are just going to go out the gates today, and London will drop it down. So DAX as well. We had a gap fill this morning on the DAX. Hasn't finished, hasn't played yet. So I'm just getting into a short in this. And I'm going to try and play this down today. I've got some sell stops on the way in this accumulation. So I'm hoping we are just popping our head out the top. And this is going to be high of day. And try and play this gap fill. And that will obviously tie in nicely with the position that I've got on the S&P on the futures as well. But we'll see. It's unusual for it not to do the gap fill. If you stick a moving average on this, you'll see why that candle happened. Specifically the 20. So basically that's a 20 bounce. So it's whether or not that 20 is going to hold. So obviously with if we're going to get a trend day today, we'll see a bounce and we'll see a continuation push back up into this accumulation. If the 20 doesn't hold, we'll see market structure shift to the downside to come and fill the gap. So that's my play, is the short. I think we're going to fill this gap. It's rare that we don't fill the gap within the first sort of session, like here, for example. Yeah, that is typically what we see in London, in Asia going into London. So this is the Frankfurt Open here. This was today's Frankfurt Open. So I'm anticipating the gap fill during London, and then it can do what it likes after that. I don't care. But we'll see. Mark, sorry, I just in your comment. Aussie Swiss, you're playing 1 minute chart, are you? Right, okay. Yeah, you will have had a reversal out on the 1 minute. So you're trading M15, M1, are you? So yeah, nice extension on M15. ADR hit, M1 entry. Good trade. but you didn't take it because you didn't get the retest. Yes, this is the thing about the retests, and I get asked this question all the time. The main questions I get asked about the indicator are to do with wicks to the left and retests. So do you have wicks to the left turned on or not? And an aggressive mode, but that's really for scalping. Aggressive mode works well on M1, but you will get a lot more signals. So yeah, I mean, wicks to the left is what I get asked an awful lot. And retests, should I take the retest or not? And again, it's completely personal preference. What this indicator is signaling to you is a shift in market structure, an M pattern. Yeah, and you will quite often get an M pattern which causes the reversal alert if it's a higher high there. So basically you get different types of patterns. You're going to get either a double top, in which case you'll get a reversal alert on the leg 1. You'll get a stop hunt M, in which case you'll get the reversal alert on leg 2. Or you'll get a lower high M, like that, in which case you will get the reversal alert on leg 1, and this is the retest arrow. So the indicator will show you a lower high M, which is what this one is in this case, or it will show you a higher, or it will show you a retest. There is no right or wrong. Sometimes you'll get something like this and you'll miss it and you'll kick yourself. Other times you'll see one like this and it will come straight up and invalidate it, and you'll go, brilliant, I'm glad I didn't take it because I didn't see a retest. And other times you'll take the retest and it'll be absolutely perfect as well. There's no right or wrong. The idea of the indicator is to tell you that a condition is happening in the market. Your job is to then analyze the market. Whether you take retests or not will quite often, with me, it's dependent on what it looks like. Yeah, M15, we got a massive bearish engulfing. You're not going to get a chance to get a retest on it. If price action is that strong, you're never going to get a retest. So, personal choice. But yeah, that was a nice little entry and one there. Right, that's all I got today so far. There's nothing else happening at the moment. As I say, I'm not really getting into anything long term anyway, so keep your eyes peeled on the RSI dashboards for the 4 hour and the hourly. Euro New Zealand's got even more extended. So keep your eyes on that one, and obviously take any trades you feel you want to take today, but just be careful with news. Yeah, just really keep an eye on the news today. It's just everything's like on an iPhone. News just come in. Russian military to launch ballistic missiles and cruise missiles on February the 19th as part of drills. So they're still insisting it's drills. I heard something really interesting on the news this morning, just before I disappear, about the satellite images. I don't know if you've seen all the satellite images of the Russian movements and everything. And there was 2 top military advisors on, basically saying that there is no way, if they were doing war games or military drills, you would build field hospitals to that extent close to front lines, or that many field hospitals. So basically they've set up massive field hospitals near the front lines, and they were saying, war games and military exercises and drills, you don't need field hospitals, and especially not in the scale of the field hospitals that they have deployed. So it's like, no matter how many times you say we're doing war games, we're doing drills, you're not drilling your field hospitals, and that's what they've built. So it doesn't sound good, does it? But everything's speculation at the moment. So you just have to be aware. So keep your eyes on this. Yeah, if you see any movement today, just keep your eyes on Forex Factory. I'll have this up on my monitor, constant live stream feed, because if something does kick off, you're going to need to react. You're probably going to want to get out of some stuff if you're on the wrong side of it, just to make sure, because if it bleeds, it could bleed heavily. Right, so that's all I've got for today. I will be back at 2 o'clock this afternoon, hopefully with these 3 contracts long. going all the way down if I can hold them to there, and I will have hit my target and have a nice 150k funded account. Although I've got to trade for 10 days, so what I'm going to do for the other 8, I don't know. But yeah, I'm just playing that short today, that gap fill, which looks like it's starting to play out on the DAX as well. Is that just taking me out of that position? I just entered position. I just got taken out. Ugh. Just getting another one. So yeah, good luck this morning. Gary, I think they will wait until the Olympics are over on Sunday, so they don't piss off the Chinese. Yeah, that's true. Although, I don't know. I'm not sure. I know obviously China and Russia are very friendly, but yeah, I suppose it makes sense to delay it 3. What's 3 days? Maybe it will be. So yeah, another good reason not to hold stuff over the weekend. I've said many times we don't get gaps in Forex much anymore because there's too much algorithmic trading and it just doesn't gap much. On things like wars breaking out over weekends, you will get gaps. And if you don't get gaps, what you'll get is very light liquidity and fast price action at market open, and your stops will not get honoured. You'll get slipped. So try and get as flat as you can at the weekend if I was you, just in case. Specifically on US, yen and Swiss pairs. Everything else is probably going to be all right, but you'll probably find the money's going to fly into the US, the Swiss and the yen if it happens. So those are the ones you want to be a bit wary of. All right, so there's nothing much else this morning, but it's one of those weeks this week. So I'm sitting on my hands a little bit, and there are opportunities out there. And look at lower time frames if you want to get into stuff. Look at M15, M1s if you want to get into extensions on RSI. They're probably your best bets at the moment because we have got movement. It's just not very strong in direction at the minute. So I'll be back at 2. We'll have a look at the market, have a look at what's happened this morning, and do a bit more futures trading this afternoon and see if we can get a bit further forward in my next funded account. All right, so anything you need, come in the Telegram group. I will be in there today. And if you like the stream, give us a thumbs up, and hopefully see you at 2 o'clock this afternoon.